All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to this week's Gold Rush Weekly Watch List. Thank you for joining us if you're watching here live. So I don't have too many, there's not a lot of setups that I like. I'm mostly bullish by nature, so I don't really see much going on, but I will give you what I do see, and hopefully we can make some money this week, like I know that we will. So for anybody watching this for the first time, if you are watching this on YouTube, at the time of this airs, we currently have a 7-day free trial for our community. So you can just visit goldrushgang.net. That's goldrushgang.net. And then obviously, check the website out, see what's going on. But if you would like to partake in a 7-day free trial, then go ahead and click join us on the top. And you can scroll down through our tiers and click the fun pass. The fun pass will take you right into the server, and you can get started with us for 7 days on a house. All right. That being said, let me go right into the weekly analysis. Am I still sharing? Can you guys see my screen? If you guys can see my screen, let me get a 1 in the chat real quick. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So again, I only have a handful. I only have like 5 tickers that I want to look at this week. So if you guys have anything, just start thinking about the. If you have any requests, just start thinking about them so you can so we can take a look. Otherwise, it's going to be a very quick call. So let's start with QQQ real quick, and then we'll go into SPY so we can just kind of see what the market is doing as a whole. Now, if you guys remember last week's call, it was, so this is a weekly candlestick on the left-hand side. Let me go ahead and full screen this. So our weekly candlestick is on the left-hand side, and our dailies on the right. Now, last week when we discussed it, we did talk about there was 2 back-to-back weeks of sell pressure, right? Or rather, we had this gap up and big sell pressure at this downtrend line. So that formed a what's called an evening star reversal pattern on weekly, right? So Qs have been trading in this weird range since December. Let me just make it a little bit closer. Yeah, so Qs have been trading in this weird range since December. It started really at the middle of November, and it's been trading sideways. So I mean, obviously the volatility on these big down weeks, big up weeks are good if you're day trading or if you're scalping. Very, very nice moves. But if you're going long, it's not really the environment for it, right? Or, long or short, it's not really the environment for it right now. That being said, I will say I do like all this kind of choppy sideways price action because this is building momentum for a strong move, whether to the upside or the downside. Now, again, I'll reiterate, I'm bullish by nature. I want the markets to go up. I want companies to succeed. I want money to flow around, right? But so I would love for this to continue to move upward, but I mean, it looks like we're going to get a strong move. And to me personally, at this time, it looks like it's going to be a downside move. Now, we're currently 7.49% off all-time highs on QQQ, all-time high, which we touched on the week of November 22nd. And so now we've just been retesting this level here, this previous resistance level of these 2 weeks in September. We've just been kind of bouncing around on that level. We'll come down to it, we'll hit it, bounce off of it, make a nice move up, right? Make a nice move up, come down, bounce, approach it, nice move up. Terrible, I mean, real terrible week on this week because this is just a doji. So it really gave no action the last week of December, and then it just flushed this week, right? Maybe there was a potential fake out here with this bull flag, with this kind of bull flag that formed, and then we had a strong Monday, and I know a lot of people made money on Monday, but yeah, after that, bearish engulfing into a flush underneath the 50-day, so well underneath the 50-day, and now at these previous levels of consolidation, hopefully will hold. Now, this is the 3rd time that we've tested it. One on these 2 days, another one on these couple of days, and another one on Thursday, Friday. So right now we're at I guess this would be the 100-day. The 100-day is, let me turn it on real quick. I had it on before this call. Let me just quickly turn it on so we can see where it is. I think it's this. No, it's this one. Oh, it's the 150 that I turned into 100. Yep. So yeah, we're currently at the 100-day. We tried to hold it on Thursday, but flushed underneath it on Friday. Now, if you guys have followed the Stock Traders Almanac that Ginger posted, that Bless G posted in a trade floor, should be pinned in the trade floor actually. Then it says that the first 5 days in January, or essentially the first week in January, will give the direction of what the stock market's going to do. Now, if we look at very quickly, let's look at last year's January. Let's see here. So last week's January, last year's first week of January was a green week. It was this candle right here. This candle right here. Now, on that candle, you can see that we kind of opened and then we tested. That was a super volatile week. Where is it? This one. We opened above the previous high of the previous week, came down, filled the gap, and then found support over here at this previous resistance, right? So it found support at this previous resistance and then bounced and put in a whatever kind of doji this is. All this shows me is that there was mad buyers that stepped in on this week from all the way down here to all the way up here. And so that first 5 days of January told us it was going to be a bullish year. Now, I will say it was a tough year to trade because it wasn't like it wasn't like one of these kind of straight line up years or time period. But we did get a nice, we flew a little bit, had a little range. It was January. Yeah, and the January was kind of tough. I mean, this is when the memes came about, so it was kind of tough for tech as a whole. But we closed way higher than we opened for the year. So I would say that theory for this year was true. Now, this is a down week. The first 5 days in tech gave us a down week. And so what that means is we're either going to have a bear market, the start of a bear market, or the start of a correction, which won't be too bad, right? Because if we do correct, let's call it a 15% correction, that'll bring us back down to this 200-day. The 15% will bring us back down here, right, to this 200-day. And I think that's super healthy because now there's no reason for tech to go stupid, right, for the rest of the year. Either that or so it's either a bear market, which I doubt, correction, which would be extremely healthy, or choppy sideways year, which would be terrible, right? So that's on the almanac. Those aren't my words, but I'm going to follow it pretty closely to see what it does this year. So that's that. Let's see. If it takes support out here where it currently is, this level right here, the shaded box where it currently is, then there's some really strong support levels down below. We have 376, 373.50, and 370 are the very strong support levels. Now, I can kind of see it coming down to test the bottom of this, the top of this previous resistance line here. I can also see it kind of come down to where, where this, let me just draw a line on it so it's a little bit more clear. Where this previous resistance right here, resistance, support, resistance, support. This is a strong level. So I can see it coming down to this 373, break 373. I can see it come down to wherever this 200 day is going to meet it. Right. So that's what I'll be watching for. Again, I'm not married to it. I think it's bearish. The way that it looks is bearish, but I'm not married to it. Whatever it does is what it does, and we're going to make money, right? Final support's around 366, where it'll meet the 200 days. So right around here is where I'm hoping I truly hope it reaches so we can kind of work our way back up. Again, I mentioned the evening star that you see here on a weekly, and which is a reversal pattern. And all momentum indicators on a daily are pointing down, right? So everything's down, boom, boom, everything's pointing down, right? The only bullish possibility I see for this is that we've bounced here a couple of times in the past, right? All these times we've bounced at this level. And so that could happen possibly again. Another thing that can happen that can bring it up is that a lot of the tech companies are reporting earnings at the end of this month. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Metaverse, whatever, Tesla, they're all reporting towards the end of the month. So if any of them get, especially Apple and Microsoft, if they get some sort of any kind of run up for earnings, then it's going to bring the Qs up with it. You already know how they move. So that's what I see for QQQ. Again, I'm bearish on it right now. But if it changes direction on us or it gives us a direction, then we'll just play whatever direction it gives us. We go with the flow. The next one is, let's look at SPX real quick just to see kind of where it's at. Now, I'm going to pull this back. Let me do it on a weekly, actually. Yeah, I'm going to pull this back on a weekly. So now we're holding on this there's this trend line that's been forming since This, I want to say, I mean, it's not really a morning star, but it's kind of just a really strong indecision candle. And then we just moved up from that candle. This was back in March of 2021. So keep that in mind. Right now, SPX is sitting at the 50-day SMA, which is this red line. Zoom in on it so you can see a little bit better. It's currently trading back in this range. So it was in this range for a little bit. It fell out of it, came back into it, fell out of it, came back into it, broke out, and now it's back into it. So this is a magnetic area for SPY to trade in right now. So we got to see really what it's going to do once it comes out. I expect it to be choppy within the range, and once it chooses the direction, then I expect it to go, just like it has here, right? It chose down and it went down. Over here, it chose up and it went straight through it. It's currently 3.23 above, below its high. Excuse me, this is a typo. Let me correct that. It's currently 3.23% below its high. And the trend line is, what's going on with my mouse, bro? What's going on? Yeah, so it's 3.23% below its high and 1.68% above the trend line from March. So you know, QQQ we said was like 7% below. Yeah, QQQ was 7.49% below its high. So it'll be very easy for SPX to move down another 1.68% just to come back down into that trend line or into that 100-day, that blue line that we just added. I think that SPX needs to continue to hold the 50-day in order to go back up to test that supply zone, this supply zone right here, this area right here. Let me draw it so it's a little bit more clear. And you guys may not be familiar with supply and demand, so we're gonna have something soon to kind of talk about it so you guys can see it a little bit more clearly. But it needs to hold this line to come back up to try to break this, right? And this is gonna be a very tough level to break. It can even go up, test it, and then come back down, right? That's very possible. Now, with QQQ, where it's currently sitting at below the 50-day, it's very possible, you know, that QQQ, it's not like it's consolidating and it's kind of thinking about making a decision. It's done, like it's just going down, right? So with that happening, and no consolidation, I can easily see SPX giving up to 50 and going down the trend line. So that's kind of where my head is at with it. All the momentum indicators say on the daily that there's more downside, right? So we started to puke on a MACD, and you know, we wasted this whole green MACD on this consolidation, and then now we're just making a move on the downside MACD. So I see it coming down. I see it forming a full curve, right? Obviously RSI is pointing down, and TTM is working its way back down. Is losing bullish pressure and is working its way back to zero. So everything's telling me downside on this, you know, for now. You know, if there's no catalyst, if there's no sort of some sort of run with the bigger names, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't go down personally. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, I just summed it up on the notes there. So is there anything that you guys see on SPX or QQQ that you want to quickly mention, or any potential catalysts? Also, I know that we don't have too many earnings this week. I think we have TSM. No big names like that. Let me just take a look real quick. And if you're in the server, I'm just looking at, or if you're not in the server, either way, I'm just looking at earnings, the earnings this week channel. We usually post weekly earnings. So, I mean, we got Tilray, Jeffries, which is the start of the financial sector earnings. We have Delta and TSM. And then we have JP Morgan, Citibank, Wells Fargo. So, yeah, okay, a lot of big bank names, BlackRock, all reporting earnings this week. So Delta is one of the ones that I think I have on my list for this week. So that's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, no massive earnings, although the bank earnings do usually dictate what direction the market goes. Tilray, okay. To be playing Tilray. I played Tilray. I'm like 1 for 5 with Tilray. You know, one big win and the rest of them are losses. So I don't really like to play Tilray. That's one of the tickers I don't really like to play too much. So yeah, I mean, that's what I see. That's what I see here. And again, it can go in any direction. Let me just quickly look into futures to see how we're starting off. Yeah. I mean, so far we're pointing down. Futures opened up about an hour ago. Actually, it opened up now. It opens up at 6 o'clock. And yeah, I mean, look at it open and it just I mean, both bear flag, right? We're gonna bear flag into this. We're at this previous level where we got some buyers. This is on the 5 minute. Let me go on a 30 minute. Yeah, and then we got if we give up this area, then we have a couple dollars down to about 46.40. Forgive the noise, guys. It's loud in Brooklyn. Yeah, so we got 46.40 if we break that bear flag and continue to the downside. Otherwise, it looks like it's forming some sort of supply demand zone here again. So yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like a downside move, to be honest. So all right, let me go into the tickers that I have for this week. So do I have this in any order yet? I think this is not the right order. All right, so the first one that I have that I want to look at is Viacom. I know that we are quite familiar with this ticker. I know that we've probably played it. Anyone who's been in the server for about at least 6 months, you've seen this ticker. We've been playing this ticker since it started running up this way. And since the drop, it kind of fell off. We might have had a couple of weeks where we called it, but it fell off the radar for a while because it's been getting choppy and nasty, disgusting pretty much. But this is the first time in a while that it's above the 50-day, which is this red line. There's a potential pivot machine gun in play, which is basically like if there's like 5 back-to-back days or weeks of all new lows, then when the first low gets taken out, right, such as, where is it? If you look at my mouse, such as this one right here, this is the first low that got taken out. Actually, this one got taken out, this one got taken out, that one got taken out, this one got taken out, and this one was, we were trying to take this one out. So that's a pivot machine gun. We're just putting a bullish move. All these people who set their stops here, and all the short sellers who went short, they all had to cover their shorts on these every single time that this broke through, right? So it causes a big move like this. Okay, I got you, Ash. So that's what I'm looking at with the possible pivot machine gun. With all of this choppy range, all these weeks of just consolidation, from the drop into April of last year all the way to about October. So 6 months of sideways movement. I kind of expected a big move just like this. And now we're going to get the volatility that's been building in this. It went down, now it's working its way back up. So, I mean, again, I don't know, there's nothing that really tells me that this is going to 100% go up, but why not, right? I think the drop was due to Evergrande scandal or no, not Evergrande. It was the other company. It was some other company that had to unload a bunch of, if anybody remembers, put in the chat, whatever the name of that company is, that one of their biggest holdings was Viacom, Discovery Channel, a couple of other things that just, they had to unwind them because they needed cash to buy other shit to cover their shorts. So with all the choppy range that we had, I've been expecting big volatile moves, just like these candles that you start seeing here. So I'm excited about that because even if it goes back down, it's going to be big volatility, which is what we want. We have a potential earnings run up with earnings in 6 weeks. It may not start now, but because 6 weeks is a long time. But let's just keep it on our list. This is the first time this is on my list in a long time. So that's Viacom. The next one that I have. Let's do. G, did you want to look at Tilray, or you were just expecting? We'll look at Tilray. We'll look at Tilray first. Let's look at Tilray. So I saw this. The reason why I saw it is because I forgot why I saw it. But anyway, I mean, it has earnings this week on the 10th, which is that tomorrow? Yeah, it has earnings tomorrow. It has earnings pre-market. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see any reason why. So earnings are you in a play already? Just curious. Are you in a Tilray play already? I mean, with Tilray, what I would think about is let it have a reaction, whatever kind of reaction that it's going to have. I'm just looking on my screen right now to see what the market maker number is for it. Tilray. I'm just looking over to another screen. Yeah, it's an 83-cent move. It needs an 83-cent move. So I mean, it'll get an 83-cent move like this day. Friday's price action was high of 677 and low of 629. So 50-cent move. I mean, it'll get it. And if it doesn't, I don't know. I'm not intrigued by this ticker the way that I used to be. I mean, obviously, if you've been trading about a year ago, then you know that Tilray got some mad volatility, and it broke this kind of triangle pennant situation on the 50-week, and it went from $8 in about 6-7 weeks. It went up to $67. So I don't know. Return to the memes. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. It doesn't have my attention at all right now. So what I would say, and G, I'm gonna say this to you, and I mean, you already know this, is if it goes up, then take call. Just follow the flow. Whatever. If you see volume pouring into it, that first 10-minute candle, and if that first let's see, that first, like, 45-minute candle, hour candle, if that's more than like 30% of the average volume, then I would say that there's volume in Tilray, and so you can continue to play it. Obviously look for volume first. If it's like massive green candles, then take the calls. If it's massive red candles, take the puts. It's really extended from its 50-day. The 50 days all the way up here at $9.46, and Tilray's at $6. So that's a $3 move into the 50. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me look at the open interest on this real quick while I have it here. I'm gonna pull it over. Okay, can you guys see my Thinkorswim screen? Just throw a 0 in the chat if you can, real quick. Okay, cool. So on Friday's price action, 95,000 calls were played and 28,000 puts were played. 46% of the calls were traded above the ask. So that's pretty, but then, yeah, I mean, it's pretty high. It's a pretty high number for both, right? People were just very interested in getting into the play. 46% on the ask side, 40% on the put side, 46 on the call side, and 40 on the put side. Now, the biggest orders for Tilray on Friday were, I don't know why it's not loading. But yeah, you usually see the biggest orders here. I don't know why it's not loading. Not sure. So I don't know. I mean, let's look at January 14th is this Friday's expiration. A lot of volume went into the 7 call. The volume exceeded the open interest on the 6.5 call, the 7 call, the 8 call, and yeah. And then on the put side, the volume exceeded the open interest on the 5.5, on the 6, and on the 6.5. So, I mean, either way, to me, it looks there's way more people interested in calls, like massively way more people with a tight spread, decent Greeks, right? So I would say that people are hoping that there's a bullish move. So look for that. This is on Thinkorswim. This is Thinkorswim. This is TOS. If you go to the trade tab where you see your chains, if you go down, you go to option statistics, and it tells you what the volume of calls and puts, which you can get by adding all this stuff together if you really wanted to do it. And then on a different ticker, it'll show you like the time and sales. So let me just pull up MRK, because that's the next one we're gonna look at. MRK. I'm gonna go to options, time and sales. It's not loading for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, you know why? Probably because I have to reboot this. But all right, so let me reboot this in the meantime. And we'll look at MRK on the chart while I reboot Thinkorswim. So yeah, that's one of the most powerful tools I think TOS has. It shows you like all of the unusual whales and all of the flow algo kind of orders right in the platform. So if you know how to manipulate the platform, you can get all those services for free. Let me just restart it real quick. Where we at? Okay. MRK. Do they have a catalyst? It looks like they do. What is this? February 3rd is earnings for MRK. Yeah, when I pull it back up, I'll walk you guys through it. We'll talk about it when I pull it back up. Let me just log into it. Okay. Um, so MRK, I mean, I'm looking at the weekly. Weekly's forming higher lows. It's in an uptrend, clear uptrend. Let me just delineate these higher lows, right? Every time it touches, it comes out to this level, it kind of fires off. I like that the 50 and the 200 on the weekly are kind of consolidated. That means that this thing's been consolidated for a long ass time. Yeah, I mean, look at all this. Once it kind of found this range, it's been trading up and down within this range, giving the 200-day or 200-week time to kind of pull up to the 200-day, 50 week. Yeah, I'll take a look at IWM as well. So consolidation here is nice, and it still makes these big, massive moves, and they're big upside moves, big downside moves. So that's why the moving averages are kind of like where you want to go, bro. Like you want to go up or down, figure it out, right? So I like MRK a lot. This is a very, very nice chart. So right now I see that it bounced out of this previous resistance, previous rising support level, kind of formed the bull flag around the 200-day, broke out above it a little bit, not with strength, not with too much strength, gave it up, and then buyers stepped in and said, "Nah, we like it here," and they bought it. And ever since then, this is Monday. Since Monday has been forming higher highs. It kind of had an indecision on Thursday around the 50-day, and on Friday it decided to go up to continue to fill this gap here, and just take out the 50-day with gusto, right? Let me just take out this 100-day. I don't really like the way it looks on my chart, so let me just take it out. Okay. So I like it. Let me give you some upside levels. It looks like a bullish continuation for me personally. The reason why I say it's bullish is because we had this resistance here one time, 2 times. I would call this 3, and this 4, and 4 times attempting to take out these sellers here, and we finally did it on last week's candle. So I think that's super bullish. Now the levels that you got to take out are, and look at how convenient that is, right? It's it's funny how that works out, right? You got this low, which ended up being the resistance for this the move on Friday. Now, I play very, very simple strat, right? Simple strat stuff for me. It's easy for me to do my levels like that on a daily, right? So now those are your upside levels. Now I want to look at it. So I see these sellers here at this level. So I want to see what time that happened. So I'm going to go into a 30 minute. Now, the trajectory for the day was bullish all day. It did kind of a 3-bar play right here into a bull flag, kind of started to break out, and then found sellers. And it found sellers here. It put in kind of an evening star kind of reversal, and then buyer stepped in. Now let me turn the volume on this real quick so we can see what it looks like. Because these candlesticks without volume don't really tell me much. So let me look at the volume. All right, so, and I know it's super light, so I'm just gonna make it darker so you guys can follow along with me. And falling, and I'll do this in a different color. Let's just do red. Let's do red and green. All right, so let's see on the high candle of the day. So all right, obviously let's start from the beginning. So we had this big ass green candle right here, and then a continuation candle. And look at the volume on those two. Those two put in crazy volume, right? We had an indecision candle, with buyers and sellers. This resting bar didn't take out the previous 50% of this previous bar, and then sellers buyer stepped in and continued to move, right? So 3-bar play, very, very nice 3-bar play. So 3-bar play into a flag. Now you see the kind of falling price action with the falling volume, right? And then when it continued the upside move, the volume stepped in, right? So this is just very, very clean price action, very clean price action into the morning star. So what might have been scary is how many more sellers there were on this candle. If you look down at the volume, more sellers than on the indecision candle, because it looks like they made a decision to bring it back down. However, a bunch of buyers stepped in on this last candle, on this inside bar, and then it just gapped into the close. So this is bullish. The people who sold it probably were people who bought it over here and they were done for the day, right? Or people who bought it down here and they were done for the week, right? So I personally don't like to play biotech. I stay away from biotech because it's not, it just, I don't really jive with it too much. I've had bad experiences with it. Now, what I do see is a nice clean kind of cup here with a handle, little handle over here. It could also be a cup into potential handle, right? So if we give up this volume profile here on the right hand side, if we give that up and we fall into this kind of gap, then we'll gap down and find support where there was previous resistance at this next volume profile. Like that's just super duper confluence, beautiful confluence. If we do start finding support in this area, then we can work our way easily to break through these levels. Let me pull it back a little bit. Yeah. So now I just wanted to pull it back because I wanted to see what the volume profile showed me for all this price action. Now, these are going to be tough levels to break through. I mean, this first level seems like it's going to be quite easy. And I mean, we're just approaching this first level. We'll probably be above it at pre-market, to be honest with you. Now, this second level it seems like it's okay. It seems like it's not too tough, but all this area right here, right at 80, 81-ish, like the mid 81s is going to be kind of hard to break into 82. That's going to be a tough level. I find that it's probably going to be choppy in that area, right? In this little range. Let me draw a little box there so you can see it. Small gray box. Let's see. Magnet tools on, so it's gonna, there you go. Okay, so if it can get into that area, then I think I would say my first target at like 82. Let it give you a green. If it goes green, right, if it takes out this level right here, then let it give you 82, or go jump into the 82 and then expect some chop around 81.30, around again 81.50, and around 82 I would exit the play, because I think that gap will be filled by then. That's the upside move. If you like the downside move, if you think that is going to, and that's straight bull move, right? And then kind of a that's like super bullish. And then if you want something that's going to be a little bit more calm, if you think it's going to be a little bit more calm, I would say take out this. What's going on here? Hang on a second. I would say take out these lows over here, right? Take out these lows, start forming that kind of handle. So let me draw it out for you. Right, and let me take this magnet off. It's going to kill me. All right. So this is one potential, right? The next potential would be to kind of fall down into this area and then base and then work its way back up, right? Now, if it doesn't take out this volume profile here, this area of volume over here, then it can easily, just based on what I'm seeing here, right? This massive lack of candles, it can easily fall back down to around 77.40 where this previous resistance was. So, if you want upside, then watch the range, the high of the day. If you want downside, then watch this 80, this 80.15-ish. Put the magnet back on. I'll give you an exact number. Let's see. I would say right there. Let it open and close the candle underneath this, and then you can play puts. You can take the puts down to around here. It's not it's not the best risk reward. Around here, it looks like it needs to make another decision. So let me just draw a line there. It just looks like this potentially can make another decision around this area. So around here, build some volume candles over here, and then from here, I would say let's take a play, right? From here, I would say if it breaks down and it falls, then I would take the downside move. The risk reward is better from down here, I think, personally, because you have a bunch of support levels over here. You got this volume profile. If it just goes straight up, I mean, I don't like to chase plays. If you're scalping, then go for it, and just know that you have to be in and out. If you're day trading, go for it. Just know you have to be in and out. Let me just pull it back a little bit, and let me go on let's do a 2 hour. Yeah, I mean, it's super. The charts tell me it's mad bullish, but I just don't like the lack of volume here, and so I don't like the moves that happen in this area are going to be very fast. So if you like it, watch it. I'll post the numbers. I'll go ahead and post the numbers in the room for us. Let me add it and then let me mark it. I'm gonna mark this with a different color. So yeah, I mean, if you like it, take it. Expect a big volatile move based on the lack of volume in the area, but only if volume comes into the play to start with, right? Like you want to see big volume bars like these, like tall volume bars like these. You don't want little shorties like these. You want tall ones like these, right? You want to see volume pouring into the play. Now with them having earnings in 6 weeks or so, or rather 3 weeks, then there's a potential that this earnings run up maybe has started or will get started. But I don't like to anticipate that kind of stuff, so just keep that in mind. The setup is clean. I mean, to me, it looks like it wants to go up. I would like for it to come down and form another handle before it goes up. And if worst case it falls to hell, then you already know you have your level taken at the break of 79, 69. You can take it down to 77, $2 move, $2.50 move for MRK. If there's anything else that you see on it, then let me know. So the next one that I have, and I'll do IWM in just a second. I wanna jump back into this, and then we'll do IWM. So I did VIAC. Let's do Delta. Now I don't know if I wrote anything up for Delta. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. So with Delta, so with Delta, let's see. And actually, I'm gonna pull it back to MRK real quick to just finish the analysis. So with MRK, let's see. This Friday's the weeklies, there wasn't a lot of volume, although a lot of volume poured into the 80 call, and the volume exceeded the open interest, which means a bunch of people jumped into it on Friday, or in and out of it on Friday rather. It's currently trading at 80.30. So, and then this week's, so maybe they're gonna hold, right? So just keep that in mind. On the put side, a lot of people jumped into the 78 put. 3,400 people jumped into the 78 put, higher than we see on this side, right? And then even the 79, 1,200 it's quite close to that 1,700, right? Even over here, the 80, 1,200. So a lot of people on the put side. If we go into today's option statistics, yeah, I mean, double the calls than puts. High percentage of people got in at the ask, so there was urgency. And then let's see if that fixed it. There's no time in sales. So I'm gonna have to call TOS tomorrow. All right, so I mean that's it. Let me just quickly look at and this is for anyone who's not part of our room. This is basically all that you get for these are all the channels that you get. So people are mostly, as of Friday, people were mostly bullish, and then as of this Friday, people are mostly bullish, and even the monthlies, people are mostly bullish. 74% bullish in terms of OI, and more people. The volume was more bullish. So I'd see a continuation just based on that. Let's check seasonality. Seasonality says January is a relatively strong month. It's above average for seasonality. So, so I expect for that to continue. This data is based on the past 20 years. So there's no reason why it would probably be too off now. Let's see. What else did I want to check? Yeah, this is so what I do with this, the predictions is basically a green swing means that based on the price action looks like it's bullish. The options looks like it's undecided, right? And you see it right here, blue neutral. And then intraday looks like it's bearish. Now, this information, this AI is based on all the orders that Traditics service pulls up. So that means maybe a bunch of people were, like this intraday AI could easily be very, very easily be all these puts that people were buying here, right? It could easily be that. Now, combined AI is like you take all of these and you squeeze them together to kind of get an overview of what it's about to be. And it's not giving enough. I mean, it's slightly bearish, but it's just not giving enough direction, So with MRK, and I suspect it'll probably be the same thing for many of the companies that are all those biotechs that are competitors. Now, this is the algo flow for MRK. This is the stock's price, this yellow line, and the green line is kind of the algo score. So it's bullish. What I like to play personally are when the green line is above the price. This says that people that big money is flowing into it. But usually the algo flow will meet the price, or the price will meet the algo flow. So the price can easily come down to meet the algo flow is the point that I'm making there. Let's look at, that was a daily algo flow. Let's look at the 5-day algo flow for MRK. Yeah. So price, like if you see price typically likes to come and meet and converge with the algo flow line. So now we have this big gap. So does the algo flow come up to meet it, or does the price come down to meet the algo flow? So I personally think, I mean, if it comes down, then we can form that handle. So I think that's nice personally. I wouldn't play until it forms a handle. I don't like biotech, so I'm probably not going to play it, but there you go. So the next one is DAL. And I'm going to blow through this list quite quickly because we've already been here for about 40 minutes now. So DAL, Delta has been, it's been in this downtrend since the week of March 22nd. And obviously it hasn't even capitulated all the way to pre-COVID highs at 57-ish. So we've just been falling down, and we have some upside moves here. But the thing is, Delta airlines are tied to, airlines and travel and hospitality are all tied to the news at this time. They're held hostage by the news. So you gotta play it as it comes with some of these. Now, I didn't write an analysis, but I do see that it's in a downtrend. It's in a downward channel, and so now higher, lower highs and lower lows to make this channel, this downtrend. So I do see this still in a downtrend. Now, if you look at the chart on the right, there's this rising line here that acted as support a bunch of times, and has also acted as resistance, right, a couple of times. Now Delta has fallen out of that kind of support area, this kind of pendant has fallen out of it, and now it worked its way, bounced from the high low and worked its way back into it and came down to test it and bounced, right? So to me, that's extremely bullish that it did that, because it could have easily rejected it here. It could have made a decision to reject it and fall down, but it bounced and it came up. It could have fell on this day when the whole market was red, but it bounced on Friday, right? So I think that that's super bullish. I think that this week we have a bullish week for airlines. It looked like kind of like a really nasty kind of bull flag that broke out, made new highs. We have earnings on the 14th or the 13th rather. So that's Thursday. I want to go into 30-minute real quick to see. Okay, yeah. So, what I like to, the reason why I look is because obviously if we look at the daily, then you know that there were some sellers, right? So I like to jump in and see where the sellers were. What time did the sellers come in? So this made a big bullish move, and the seller stepped in, and then it kind of based, right? Now, if it's a big bullish move and then people sold off here at the beginning of the day, and then volume kind of just faded and chilled for the rest of the day, then that tells you that people aren't interested. The fact that it kind of made the high and then struggled with a couple of wiki candles, and then sellers took control, but then some buyers stepped in, and you can see buyers stepping in the after hours, then that shows me that there's a potential for a continuation to the upside. If it's like a day like this where it's like it makes a massive move, and then like this day is just a weekday, massive move to start the day. A bunch of people bought here when they saw this started to break out above this, and probably didn't sell, just kind of bag held, and then they saw this gap, and they got greedy over here, and they held it, and they got chopped around all day. So this was trending up for most of the day, and then kind of worked its way down. Some people sold. It found support at previous resistance, right? Support in late afternoon on early morning resistance, and now it's kind of pointing upward. So I like it. I haven't looked at this until now. I like it though, a lot. Now, to remain consistent, I'm going to look at, let's finish the chart first, actually. So we have this line. We can come back down and test this line. My bull case is break above 42.29 ish, or break above high of day. High of day gives you 42.25. Above that, we got the 50-day moving average, or excuse me, the 200-day moving average. And I think that we're going to get slapped down once we get here, right? We have this level, we have this level, and then we have this line over here, and then we have the top of the range. So this whole area up here is just Matumbo, just chilling, waiting to clap Delta. Let me see. Yeah, there's no. Oh, there's analysis. There it is. There's analysis. Forgive me, guys. So daily bull flag. Hold on. Daily bull flag. Momentum indicators regain strength. So we had some weakness here where it went light green, then it flipped back to dark green to show bullish strength. RSI is pointing up, and TTM is curving its way back up. It's above the 50-day, forming higher lows and higher highs in a daily within this big downtrend. So we're still in the downtrend, but we're forming higher highs and higher lows within this downtrend. So once we get to this up here, that's where decisions are going to be made. That's decision time. Now, I knew there was analysis because I mentioned Matumbo. 200 days lurking above waiting just like Matumbo right here, right? Can easily come back down to test this support line again. And 42.25 is a very strong reaction level. If you look in the past, there's like, you can almost count on there being a reaction at this level, right? So we're looking for that. The RSI is approaching overbought. So now you see here, boom, it turns around, boom, it turns around. It's just approaching that level again. So maybe we'll get one more green day, like one green day to come test this area. And then from there, the decision time. So that's what I like about DAL. I'm going to watch it. I think that we have a move before earnings. I'll probably think about the 42 or the 43 calls. 42, 42, 50, 43. Let's look at the chains together real quick. Delta. So a bunch of volume flowed into the 42 calls, and the 44 calls. They skipped over the 43 calls. Not so much volume poured into the put side, more volume poured into the call side, right? And then let's see that. Yeah, I mean, double the volume into calls. And then 40% of the people who bought calls bought at or above the ask, which shows urgency into the call side. So if you want to investigate, like, yeah, 40% of people bought at or above the ask, and so they were super bullish. And so that might be a little bit of FOMO, might be, that kind of, or maybe they know something. And so you might say to yourself, what time did they buy, right? Just like you saw me zooming into this on 30 minutes to see what the chart looks like. What time did they buy? That's where you come down here to check options time and say, oh, okay, so it showed up here. Perfect. So today's biggest calls were the 42 call for this week, 496, an order of 496 calls at 66 cents were purchased at 10 o'clock in the morning. So on that big green move is when they bought it. So this trade is they probably already sold this. And then the biggest puts were bought at 12.10. It was a 42 put, and they were bought at $1.13. So I mean that's a lot of information there. And now you see it was a spread. These were spreads. It tells you that it was a spread. So it was somebody buying and selling at the same time. Now, excuse me. Now, I'm looking through and just seeing the lot size on some of these orders. 728. Yeah, most of the buyers were in the morning. This was a pretty big buyer who bought 41 calls at 12.38. So this is what this is a very strong tool. Yeah, I mean it is a cheap earnings play. You're right. And G says she's playing puts. It is a cheap play. It can go either way. It can go up or it can come down. So, and really just take the key levels of the day. So let me go back into the day real quick. Oh shit! Hold on. Yeah. 1 week, 30-minute. Okay, so I mean here's your play, right? Here's your play. If it takes out this candle, the high of this candle here, 41.89, and start thinking about buying calls. If it starts approaching kind of this candle over here, then start thinking about buying puts. If you want to be safe, wait till it takes this candle out and buy puts. And you can get from 41.27 back down to $40 pretty simply, pretty easily. Above this 41.89, it can go to 42.25. Quite simply. Now, so if you guys have TOS, I would spend some time just kind of watching this. It loads as the order comes in. As these orders come in, sometimes you'll see them come in on, you see them pop up on unusual whales, you see them pop up on flow algo, all that stuff. So this is a very, very helpful, useful tool. And then like, if you see like an order come in and it's like just one call, every one of our plays shows up here. Even our plays show up here if we're buying on TOS. So you see like these one puts and 10 puts and 6 and 60. That can be, when you see it, you enter yours and you'll see it pop up. You won't know which one it is, but but anyway, very useful. So anyway, I like DAL. I think it has a bullish move. But I won't ignore that there is a potential for a downside move based on what I see on here. So the next one that I have is, let's see, we did Viacom, we did SPX, QDAL, let's do Caesar. After Caesar, we'll do IWM. Now, for Caesar, I left last week's analysis here. Now I'm gonna leave it up there so you guys can look at it in the trade floor, or in the Watchlist channel. But basically, I saw a bull flag here, and I saw it breaking out. It did break, but it got swatted down by the 50-day, and it made the death cross a little bit more real, right? So now we put in this big bearish candle that took out all previous resistance, another big bearish candle that took out all previous resistance, and now we kind of bounced at this level. I don't love it. And the reason why I don't love it is because it went from light green to dark red to light red. So that there's like not much conviction on that move. It attempted to break out but fell back to the bottom of the range. Has a weakened negative MACD and RSI pointing up on the daily. It might come back to test some of these upper levels, maybe the top of this, this range again. I don't know. I mean, so it retraced 50% of this move, right? It took out this whole move pretty much, and now it's working its way back up to take out this move. If airlines goes up, if Delta reports strongly, or if any of these kind of reopening trades report strongly, then this is gonna go with it. Volume is always flowing into Caesars, which is why I like it. If it takes out the low of day of, if this is like kind of an HS forming and it bases and it falls and it takes out this candle right here, then I mean we can come down to over here to 79, 73, 75, 77, 75, 73. Those are my levels. 77, 75, 73 for the downside. Now, I think that it's going to come to test the top of this range personally. I think that some of the reopen trades are going to help it out. Let's see what the statistics show us on Caesar. Not much volume for this week. Caesar is one of those names that they're like kind of like boomer stocks. So most of the volume in OI is going to show up on the monthlies. Not a lot of people were in it on Friday, which is a good sign if you're a bull, because that means that, or sorry, it's not a good sign if you're a bull. It's a good sign if you're a bear, because that means that this upside move didn't have a lot of volume in it, right? Not so much volume in it. If we go to the chart, actually, I want to see something. Yeah, if we go to the chart, yeah, I mean, it was 95% of the 30-day average volume. So there was quite a bit of volume in it. It wasn't as much volume as on these red days. The volume for this red day was way up here. And then the volume for this green bouncy day was kind of here. Volume's kind of slowing down on the upside move, which means maybe it reaches one of these kind of levels and it forces way back down. So I'm going to be watching it. Let's see what it does. Let's go into the time statistics. Yeah, like not much volume. It was kind of a 50-50, 7,800 and 5,700 calls and puts. Yeah, not much volume in it. So I mean, take it if the volume gets into it. Now this might have been G right here. Buying puts, or this might have been J House buying puts right here, the 85 put. Now 85 is pretty much the low of the day or the open of the day. Well, it's much lower. So 85 is an H, right? 85 is an H. Now, does this give you the expiration? Yes, it does. January 2022. So this is the monthly January puts. 2,000 of them were bought at $1.65. And the January 110 calls, January 110 calls are, what are they? And they were at 17 cents. That seems like a lotto to me. And they bought how many of them? They bought 371. So that seems like a lotto to me. You know, the 110 is all the way up here. As we know, we don't need it to reach the strike price. We just needed to approach the strike price. You know, so big upside move will turn that $17 into $34. That's 100%. You can get it if it comes back to Tesla's 50 pretty easily. So I don't know. I don't really like the volume on it, but I like the price action on it. So I'll be watching Caesar. Let me go into IWM real quick. I'm gonna go through the rest of this pretty quickly because I've been taking up enough of your time. Let's do IWM. So IWM is still inside this flag that has been forming for a very long time. It's currently forming a higher low, right? Currently forming a higher low with a slightly bit of a higher high. The 50-day kind of forced it down. The 200-day is nearby. Yeah, it's right here. It's this black line. So the 50-day forced it back down into 200. So we need to hold. And I see kind of a, let me see. Yeah, there's kind of a head and shoulders right here. Here are let's say this whole area over here is the left shoulder. Here's the head. And then potentially another right shoulder over here. I don't know if there's going to be as many tops as these, but it looks like it's just back in that nasty range that I was in. GameStop, AMC is one of the biggest holdings, so AMC can move as. I mean, I don't think it's the thing with IWM is IWM has 2,000 stocks in it, and it holds like, you know, the highest holding is like 1%, and the lowest holding is like 0.03%. Like it's like there's not enough of it to kind of give me any conviction. It is one of those boomer stocks. I mean, it is one of those boomer holdings, like all the old companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Boeing, you know, I'm just looking, Target, I'm sure is an IWM. Let's see, let's go through this list. You know, CCJ is probably an IWM. Like it's just one of those that has a little bit of everything. So it's a slow mover. But it's been consolidating in this pattern for such a long time that we expect to see a big move like this massive flag. So when will it happen? I don't know. I also like it to the downside. Take out Thursday's low, and now we got some strat, right? Take out Thursday's low, 3-bar, you know, full 3-bar, maybe a 4-bar play, break this down, and come down to the test the maybe 210, bottom of the range. Yeah, I like it to the downside too. Let's look at the market, see what the market thinks about it. Getting sick. All right, so 3,000 people, a bunch of people jumped into calls, and the calls volume exceeded the open interest on most of these plays, from 217 all the way to 222. Bunch of volume. On the put side, let's see, volume exceeded open interest on the put side as well. A lot of people jumped into the 215 puts. You know, and it's about $1 away, so they're probably holding it. Oh, and this thing has it has multiple times of 0 DTE. That's right. So it has Monday expiration, Wednesday expiration, and Friday expiration. So you can play Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this. So IWM is interesting, very interesting. Let's see. Let's look at the monthlies. A lot of volume on the call side on the monthlies. 21,000 on the 220s, 10,000 on the 225s. Interesting that there's more out the money than in the money. I would think it will be the opposite. So that's interesting. And then over here we have 9,000 open interest, 9,000 in volume on 10K and 11K open interest on the deep in the money puts. So that seems like a hedge to me. It seems like a hedge play. Let's see, 8,000, 4,000, 3,000. So I like the bullish side on this better. And detaching the chart from what I see here, I just like to look at things separately, right? This looks like more people are bullish for the 22nd of January, this might be because there's a bunch of people reporting earnings now, and so people expect run-ups for earnings. It could be, I don't know, right? Let's look at the stats. Way more puts. So way more puts. 377,000 puts were traded on Friday versus 256,000 calls. Not much urgency, but I mean that says enough, right? That says enough there. Let's see, time and sales. The biggest calls were, the biggest order was puts, and it was 10,000 of the 217s. The February 18 217 puts. 10,000 of them at $6 a piece. So that's probably going to show up as a dark pool. Right, I'm doing math, man. 672 times 10,000 is, that's not that much. That was more. I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was more. Oh wait, 672 times 10,000, and then add 2 decimal points. Yeah, 6 million. So that's a 6.7 million. It might be a dark pool. I'm sure it'll show up as a dark pool or something to the put side. Versus 220, versus 7,800, 220 call at 318. I mean, that could have been in and out. What time did they buy? Yeah, 1024. If we zoom into the day and see what kind of movement, yeah, I mean, that could have been this let's see, 1024. Yeah, they could have bought it and sold it on these two candles and called it a day. There's no way of really knowing. This looks like a downside. This looks like an H to me. It looks like it's gonna break the H to the downside. So yeah, I like to play too. So I would just play down to these levels: 215.82 down to 214.20, 212, 208. Let me go ahead and mark IWM, and I'll go ahead and post this in the chat. Mark IWM. All right. So the next one on my list is, and we're gonna blow through it real quick. So I did all of these this season. Let's do X. The reason why X made my list is because I noticed that it was kind of forming this triangle, this kind of triangle here. And sometimes when we're in the trade, I'm in a 2023 on this, and so when you're in the trade, sometimes you're like, yo, what the hell is this doing? And you can't really see the clear direction. And it's been kind of like really, making a nasty sideways move for the past like year and a half. Last like since 2021, it's been kind of just trading sideways. So it's forming this pendant. The 50 and the 20 are, and the reason why I like this kind of choppy movement, because it lets the 200 catch up to form a new area where we're either going to be bullish if we stay above the 200 and make massive moves above the 200, like we get this golden cross and we just get this crazy ass move. And so if we get another golden cross and we get another crazy ass move, the volume pours into it, right? So forming higher lows on a weekly, right? You have 1, 2, 3 weeks of higher highs and higher lows. Golden cross about to occur. If this break right here, break and then retest, continuation, then we get a golden cross. Now that golden cross is going to happen right when X reaches this falling resistance line, right around here. So, and that's if it puts in a couple of green days, right? So if it does that, then, I mean, now we're going bearish, right? We possibly, if this is a strong resistance line. The RSI is approaching levels where it typically likes to flip down. So this actually belongs, yeah, I mean, yeah, RSI is approaching where it typically likes to flip down, right, as it has in the past, right around this area at 67. Right now it's at 63, so just like one more green day, and then like we could put in one green day, hit the top of this range, get a golden whatever the hell, and then Matumbo, right, easily. Now again, approaching the top of the range. MACD is also approaching the top of its range. Maybe we'll get 3 or 4 more days of 3 or 4 more days of green MACD. Could be 3 days, 1 day up, 2 days consolidate, and then 1 day down. Could be a green MACD. And then consolidated 250 day can go in any direction. So it can cross up and then cross back down, signaling a death cross the way it has over here. It can cross up and stay up, right? So we don't really know. But I like the setup. I like the setup for the golden cross. So let's see what it does. The last one on my list is CVS. I didn't do any analysis on it. I just saw it while I was going through my Thinkorswim. I just saw it pop up. So what I like about CVS is CVS has, besides the dividend payout, they have a dividend at the end of the month. They usually run up into their dividends a little bit, right? So it ran up a little bit into its dividend and it continued to run. After dividends, it usually kind of moves. Let's see. Yeah, dividend moves a little bit, came down for earnings. It's been weird for CVS. The reason why I like CVS too is because CVS is now at these previous levels over here. It's easier if we do it on a weekly. Actually, it's probably easier if we do it monthly. Now, CVS did this crazy massive run from 2011 all the way to 2015, right? And then it kind of just fell from there. Formed this flag, and it kind of tapped this level a bunch of times. This is when I started playing like around here. And it broke out, cup and handle, all kinds of stuff, higher lows. There's a couple of reversal candles over here. And now, bull flag into continuation. So now we're at these previous levels, and price has, as you all know, price has memory. And so there's no reason why it won't remember what it felt like to be trading, up here and up here, right? Let me get rid of some of these. I don't want this one. I don't want this. I don't want this. Now we got the 100% Fibonacci level, which is just a gap up, come down, hold the 236 a bunch of times, even on this massive gap down, and then work its way back up. So this is this area right here is a strong magnetic area. I can see CVS easily come back into this box up here and working its way and forming some volume in this area over here. Now, I think that this is going to be a very tough level to break. I think it'll get there quick, and then it'll just kind of linger in this box for a little bit. It'll do kind of like what it did here. All this kind of sideways action. Like some of the sideways action over here, I feel like it's going to do it in this area. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week or even this month, but I want to see CVS up here. It's going to get me very, very interested once it's up here in this area, because if we can get a break of all-time highs, then, this thing's going to go nuts, right? I don't know if anybody's holding CVS. I don't know if it's a good stock to hold. If you are, let me know in the chat. And I think that's it for me, guys. I don't think there's, let me just quickly look through and see if there's any other very nice setups that we can ignore. If you guys have anything that you want to look at, go ahead and drop it in the chat real quick. Yeah, these all have the same SPC. DraftKings has a catalyst in that New York has sports betting now. I don't know if it's enough to bring DraftKings back up. I do like the weekly potential for a Morningstar reversal candle here, right? Based on all these buyers here. So I do like that a lot. Let's see, Lucid. I know you guys made money on Lucid. I had just had a shift in my roles at work, and so I'm taking a lot more responsibility. So I haven't really been able to trade this week, but every time I pop in the chat, I see somebody's making money on Lucid. I'm mad as hell, man. I'm happy for you guys. I'm mad for myself. Let's see. It does look great on the weekly, like STB said, big move Friday. So massive move on Friday, rejected a little bit at the 50-day, broke out above all this previous resistance. It's still within the box, but it's closer to the top of the box. And so there's no reason why, why wouldn't it, right? Why wouldn't it want to just break out above that box, right? So now, that's a 50. Let me throw on some more moving averages so we can see where it's at with the rest of them. Yeah, and then they're all converged. This is beautiful. I love seeing charts like this. When you see all these moving averages, the 9 is this gray one. This red one is a 21, I want to say. Oh no, 21 is this black one. The 50 SMA here. So the 9 just crossed above the 50 SMA. So they're all right next to each other, right within this range right here. Based on all this consolidation, some of this consolidation and this consolidation led to all these flat moving averages. Now the 50 SMA, which is this line right here, this red line, is the one that we got to take out. If we can take this out, then you're gonna see these SMA start these EMA start stretching their way away from each other. If I pull out let's go back to the week, let's do the weekly on this side so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like kind of like an upside H forming on the weekly. Turn the magnet off. You know, bull flag, and then up, and then potential upside H, right? Or maybe one of these, you know, one of the kind of one, not like that, not like that. Hold on, let me pull a path tool. This brush got me looking like a kindergartner. Hold on, a path tool. All right, you know, maybe one of these, you know, break, retest, break, fail, head and shoulders, previous level. Nobody wants to trade something like that, right? But anyway, I see it working his way back up, especially with all these buyers down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of buyers. Range expansion, right? So we got inside bars becoming outside bars in both directions. And it's choosing to go up, and so it might either reject here and come back down and then further expand the range, or just break. It looks like it might want to break. Let me look at the volume real quick. Oh, and another thing we got, which I love, is this a TTM squeeze. Right, we got a stable TTM, and as you can see, it doesn't like to be stable. So we got a TTM squeeze, we got an RSI that's stable pointing up, and we got a green MACD. I mean, let's just continue. Let's keep the party going. Like breakout. Let me kill this. Breakout, break above the 50, come back to test it, break out above this range expansion, and then from there, you know, we can start to take out these shorts here. Yeah, Lucid is looking pretty bullish. Let's look at the history. Hold on. Lucid. Look at, so I mean, volume just pouring into it. Volume pouring into it, right? Every volume, pretty much all these strikes have volume higher than open interest, right? But even on the put side, just volume pouring into the trade. I don't care what side it pours into. I just want to see the volume pouring into the trade, right? I bet you if we look at, if we look at the 131% of the 30-day average on volume. So lots and lots of volume. That's the first thing you want to see when you're taking a trade. You want to see a bunch of volume coming into it. Now, quite close relatively, but you know, 160,000 more on the call side. So many people in the calls. The biggest orders for the day were the 43 put. Somebody bought 3,000 43 puts for February at 655. Now, a 43 put is, now what time did they buy it? They bought it at 12:30. Let's look at the chart intraday so we can kind of get a better picture. 30-minute. 43 puts at 12 what? 12:31. Right. So at 12:31, which is exactly right here, up here, somebody bought the 43 puts. Actually, let me pull it a little bit closer to see exactly. This is why I like time and sales, because I want to investigate. I want to see what the thought process was. Wow, that's a clean move, man. 12:31. So 12:31, the beginning of this candle right here, where it opened up here and it came up to this high, and somebody bought the 43 puts, and they probably exited out in the same candle. Maybe they scaled out. How many did they buy? Oh man, 3,000. They banked on that. They likely scaled out as soon as it started going red, scaling out on the way over here. They got shook a little bit. Maybe got shaken out a little bit. But if they kept the move all the way down to where it touches the market post, and that's a nasty trade, man. Good for them. So I mean, looking at the intraday, what I see is kind of one of these, right? Do they have a catalyst? Do they have some sort of earnings or something coming up? Let's see. Earnings is not for another couple of months. March. Let me check the news on them real quick. Let's see what they have. Nothing. No news. No catalyst. If you guys know a catalyst that's on Lucid, let me know. Um, Now it's forming that pendant at a previous supply zone. So how you can tell supply zones, you see kind of a basing indecision kind of area, and then a massive move in one direction or the other, right? So you see kind of a basing over here, and supply zones tend to send the stock down, right? So you got the supply zone here, stock fell, and now it's basing back in the supply zone. So now it can either do the same thing that it did before, or it could turn the supply zone into a demand zone, right? And then go up. So we won't know, but Lucid looks good. If it holds at this previous support resistance here, then if that holds as support, then I mean, you tell me where it's gonna go, right? So I like Lucid a lot. I like it for the upside. What else you guys got? Let's take two more. FCX looks good. Big bullish move coming. A bunch of sellers on Wednesday, like massive sellers on Wednesday, even though it put in a new high. Massive sellers. It tried to test this previous high over here. Massive sellers sold off and then bounced on Friday. That's nice. I like that. UPS. Let's look at UPS. Yeah, UPS is another one. I mean, cup and handle, right? You see the cup on the weekly, kind of cup, handle, and now it's breaking out of the handle. When did we talk about this last? We talked about this, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. So, oh yeah, this is I remember talking about this last week. I think we spoke about it. So, all right, fresh lens. Right now, let me put the other MAs on so we can see where it's at with the other MAs. It's above the 9. Last time we spoke about it, it was above the 9, and again, it's just consistently above the 9, holding it, bouncing off of it, breaking previous highs, right? Now the MACD started losing pressure, but then it flipped back to dark green. It did it here, and it did it again here. Let's see what that day was. It did it here on this day, and then it failed, range contraction, right? And then boom, expansion to the upside. So it put another strength MACD day. Now the RSI has gotten up as high as 83 before it turned around, and it was at 83 at the end of this massive run on the gap up. It went straight to 83. So, and then it kind of choppily went down and choppily came back up. And so that's not bad, because that means that we can get another big volatile day like this. That was on earnings, and that was October 26th. The next earnings that we have is January 31st. Now, the last time that we had earnings, we had a run up, and before that, we had chop indecision, and before that, we had a run up. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, we had a run up into chop, gap, and then we had chop and then gap down, and now we have chop, gap up. So I don't know. Based on what it tells me before, this might want to come back down. It might want to come back down. Now, if it does come down, we have a bunch of levels of support here, right? We have these previous levels that can act as support. We have these previous support levels that can act as support, right? At these two lines. We have these previous levels over here that can act as support. There's a lot of, so let me just throw the volume profile on. It'll be much easier to see it. There's a lot of support for UPS in all these areas, right? Especially right here, like the absolute most, around 213. Big levels of support. Now, if it does fall through, so I'm just gonna mark 213. I'm gonna go ahead and put a box on this volume profile so that we don't lose it. Because if we lose the price action levels of support, we're gonna have some moving averages that will act as support, right? We're gonna have all these SMAs gonna catch it. If this gives it up, this volume profile that we just drew right here, then we have all these moving averages to catch it. The 200 is way down here. The 50 is right here. I mean, if it does get clapped and does another one of these gappers, it might do it right into the 50. Let's see what the market. Let's see if it has a market maker number. I think it's too early for it. Let's just see. Let's just see. I think it's too early for it. Yeah, it's too, oh no, $3. It has a $3 market maker number. When does TOS have the marks for earnings? It has a $3 market maker number now already. So that means volatility is in play. And I think that's because it's pretty much at all-time high. So if you want some levels, let me hide this. Okay, let's see. And then guys, think about what the last one you guys want to look at. Actually, you know what? Let's just look at Tesla. Let's just look at Tesla. All right, so I see more downside than upside to this right now. The only thing that I see that's holding it up is this previous resistance. So if it takes out that previous resistance, then it can come down and test this level here. And if it takes that out, then we can come back down to this level and this level. All right, so this resistance line at 217.95 is where it's going to count. On the upside, if it takes out the high, I mean, it really needs to take out. It needs to take out these levels in order to do anything to the upside. Now, if I do a 1 hour, and then I do a Fibonacci, there, yeah, sorry, there. So yeah, so I got the big upside move, and then I got a 78.6% retracement. So if we hold exactly where it is right now, and we work our way back up, we have a very, very strong fib level that's gonna push us up. People love to buy at this level. It's 786, 618, and 50%. 50% is like, I think these two are the golden ones, right? But 786 is the first line of defense. And if it holds here, then there's no reason why I can't go back up. Now, if it does want to go back up, you got to take the break of the candles, the break of the high of those two candles there, and this candle and this candle. Those are your levels. Downside, you got 217.66, you got 217.31, you got the fib level 217.11, which to 1731 to 1711, which really we can just treat. This is going to be a strong support here because of the confluence of these two, right? We have this level and then we have that fib. Got some confluence there, so that's going to be a strong support. So if you are playing the downside, then watch out for that to hold. Also, I can see, now that I'm thinking about the downside, we can see a potential bear flag to the downside. Measured move of this bear flag gives us, if we just measure the flagpole and then we take that measurement and project it on the break, then it puts us right at the 50-day for the, or the 50 for the 15-minute, right? And I mean, break down and then potentially hold this, break this, hit the 50, break that, hit the 50% fib. So there's, to me, there's way too much support. There's a lot of support. Hold on, take this damn magnet off. And then we'll look at Tesla. Let's see, support here, support here, some price action support. There's like way so much support. So I mean, it can support the downside move, and then you got to take this level out in order to continue it. I like it for the upside, especially with all these buyers here. All these buyers here at this previous level of resistance, support, retest support, work its way back up. Personally, let me go to this, and I'll go ahead and post this one in the trade floor as well. Look at Tesla. Let's look at Tesla over here. is the last one, guys. Before we do Tesla, let's look at CVS, UPS. Bunch of buyers in the weeklies, lots of buyers in the weeklies. What's this? The 235s did 100%. Let's see, monthlies, lots of buyers, not so much buyers. Not a lot of volume, to be honest with you, in UPS. Let's see, yeah, not too much volume. 20,000 calls, 10,000 puts. Most of it was done between a bid of the ask, so people were very patient. And it's not gonna load this, I guess. Maybe it's not too much, not enough data. But the price action is dumb clean. Look at Tesla. So we drew this down channel that's in, and whenever we draw lines, we leave them until we don't have any more screen to look at. Let's see. So we got this down channel, and now we're testing the top of the previous resistance on this channel as potential support. Let me get rid of this. Remove. I had some XPS, SPX. Let me add it. I like to do this a lot. Comparison. There's a study in TOS called comparison, where basically it overlaps us whatever ticker that you decide. It overlaps it with the current whatever ticker you're on, and then whatever ticker you decide. So I choose SPX as my comparison, because I want to see what the strength and weakness of it is. So the hollow candles are green and the shaded candles are red. So Tesla having a bigger body candle with like it just opened and straight sold off. This is relative weakness to SPY, right? This is SPY comparison. So I'm going to remove it. So we don't even know. So I like to do that so we know what the relative strength and weakness of is between whatever ticker that we're looking at and SPY, for example. So relative weakness, high volume day, 118% volume compared to 30-day average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of back-to-back lower lows. So, and now we're at a previous resistance level. So we took out, these were potential supports here, and we took those out in like one day. We tried on this day, but it got clapped, right? It got clapped to infinity. Now we've got some buyers here late in the day. Let's see exactly what time they bought at. Yeah, I mean, the buyer stepped in. What lines are these? See what we should be doing, or what I should be doing. You guys probably are really good at it, but what I should be doing is labeling. Okay, so this is a previous support, a previous resistance level here. Is acting as support. So that's what those two lines are. What we should do is we should say, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and do it now, actually. Previous resistance. Yeah, so 3-bar play. We should name it so that we know exactly what the hell it is when we're looking at it. All right. I save it. Oh, name is too long. Downside. Oh, downside. There you go. TOS. All right. So previous resistance became support. Yeah, Tessie's showing me some weakness right now. I mean, let's see, remove a lot of a lot of people were here, they were hoping for the bounce, and then the sellers took control, continued, and then buyer stepped in at 1010, psychological number. Buyer stepped in, sellers sold off. Probably the same buyers here were sellers here, right? And now it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, really, if it holds 1010, I have a feeling it might go back to test it one more time. If it holds 1010, then we can work our way back up if we can break above 1039. Let's see. And then we can get back into whatever this green box is. Let's look at the trade tab real quick. Somebody's coming in so late. Let's see, trade tab. So, and Tesla's wonky, bro, because you can look at like Tesla never has a lack of volume. Like it's just nuts. Actually, we have to do more than this. All right, so 18,000 people jumped into the 1050s. 32,000 people jumped to 1100s. 12,000 people jumped to 1150s. Like this lacks logic. But look, 19,000 people jumped into the 1200s. 6,700 people jumped into the 1250s. 3,500, 5,300 people jumped into the 1,300s. So, I mean, you guys already know, like you jump into one of these. Let's see, maybe this one. This is probably one of the better ones. 1195. Let's look at the 1195s real quick, and then that'll be it for the night. Tesla 22. 1195. What am I call 1195? Let's see. This one. Copy. Oh, 1200s. Yeah, 1200. All right. Where's the day? They started here. All right. So the 1200s can be they've been as high as $57 on Tuesday. They were $57. This is a 30-minute chart. I'll pull up Tesla chart for reference. Pull up Tesla chart for reference. Customize. Done. All right. Okay. So at the money, these things opened up at $57.67, right? And at what is it? $200 cheap. $200 down. They went to 226. So $2. The $2 now. They're kind of basing. Let me pull into it a little bit so we can kind of see a little more clearly. They're kind of basing at this area. The high of day was $6.30. It's been basing between $2.87 and $2. And then let's see, between 1039. So it's so I mean the 1200 seemed like a good one to play, based on the fact that they're moving exactly with the price action. They're moving with the price action. Yeah, they're moving with the price action. I mean, if there's a bunch of volume, most of the volume came in at the end of day, right? Highest volume on this whole on this week pretty much came in at end of day, 1200 end of day. So, and it came in end of day on this candle here, on this kind of inside bar candle, range contraction candle. So, and so far, those people are going to be doing okay because it kind of worked its way down and is working its way back up. It needs to break out of this range. I bet you once it breaks this, you're going to see this price just spike and go stupid. So the 1200s, if you like it, let me go back to the daily. Let me get rid of this one. Go back to the daily. 1200s, if you like it. Just know it can go to 0. Let's see. And then 1200, I mean, it's at 1010 now. 1200 is up here. if we find a base, then play the 1200s. I mean, there's a lot of volume on this. If this holds, play the 1200s. I'm sure T is going to call something this week on Tesla, and you guys have your own plays on Tesla. So I mean, that's pretty much it. Let's look at the just for muscle memory. Let's look at the option stats. So I mean, 1.168 on calls versus 1 million on puts. Less urgency than I expected. 28%, 29% less urgency above ask than I expected. And the biggest orders were the 1100 put, which was for January, expires January 21st. And they bought that at 3:40 p.m. And so 1100 put, which is $90 above the current strike. So that's bullish. And the biggest call that was purchased was June 1100 calls. June 1100 calls, 1,500 of them at 141 a pop. So, and that was at 12:30. So, I mean, this is not a risky. This is just somebody probably parking their money. This is probably Pelosi. It's probably Pelosi right here. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I invite you guys to take a look at this kind of stuff and tell me what you see in future analysis. The 1200 is the one to play for Tesla. Tesla has to hold this level here at 1010-ish or 1015-ish or whatever to work its way back up. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got, guys. Thank you guys for rocking out. It's been almost 2 hours. It's funny because I thought this one was gonna go much faster, but it ended up taking longer. That's what happens when you guys gave me the mic to myself. I just hog the shit. I'll go ahead and post these in the channel, in our weekly Watchlist channel. And if you're watching this for the first time and you are interested in joining Gold Rush for 1 week free, go ahead and go to goldrushgang.net. The link will be in the bio. If you link will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And go ahead and click join us. Scroll down and you can see our tiers. And I have a feeling that these guys are going to complain and that the price is going to go up soon. So, I mean, if you're in, obviously you're locked in at whatever price you're in. Congrats. If you are not in and you would like to trade with us, go ahead and click that 7-day free pass and join us and join the party. And I will see you guys on the trade floor tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.